Today is August 17th, 2025, and welcome to the 450th episode of the So Videogames podcast. Here on the show, I talk about any game at all, including new stuff, old stuff, and anything in between. My name is Brad Galloway. I'm the one-man host of the show, and I'm also the editor of GameCritics.com, a website that uses the full range of review scores from 0 to 10, while also offering full accessibility information on every review that we publish. Hello, thank you all for joining me today. If you are a regular listener of the podcast, then you will know that on last episode I said we were probably going to have Carlos Rodella on to two-man this episode. I don't know what happened to Carlos. He was supposed to be here. I hope he's okay. Carlos, man, if you're out there, send me a message and let me know what's up. I'm not sure what happened, so I will have to pick up and carry forward without him. Hopefully he's fine. I guess he just caught a last-minute flight to Aruba, or perhaps he's got syphilis again. I don't know what's going on with Carlos. Hopefully he's okay, brother. Reach out when you can. So kind of thrown off my groove a little bit because I was expecting to have another person to shoulder the load today, but we will make do. The show must go on, as they say. Was planning to do housekeeping, but I didn't get around to it, so we're going to skip housekeeping. What else do we usually do at the beginning of the show? We talk about the new YouTube channel, youtube.com/@gamecritics.com videos. Check that out if you wish. Interviews, video reviews, trailers that we curate personally. So nice stuff over there if you like. If you like the vibe of Game Critics or of the show, I'm sure you will like that vibe as well. Otherwise, I don't know. Let's just get to it, man. Before we start, also, I guess just a quick heads up on the Patreon, supporting this show and Game Critics. All the costs are paid out of my own very pocket, and if you love the show or you love the site, I would invite you to chip in and help me keep it running. If everyone listening would chip in just $1, all of my expenses would be covered a month, and if you could afford it, I would sure appreciate it. Okay, so I guess on this impromptu fly by the seat of my pants episode, let's just kick it off with circle backs, where I usually begin the main portion of each ep. Let's see. Can you tell I'm off my game? Yes, you can. There was not a lot going on for me in terms of circle backs this week. Still really busy with the puppies, Peanut and Danger, keeping us very, very, very busy. I forgot how much work puppies are. I've cleaned up so much poop. I've cleaned up so much pee, and we are not quite to the phase where they are okay being on a leash yet. It's kind of funny/sad. This is like their very first experience. You know, they were born new to the world, and so they don't know all things relating to dog. And putting a collar/harness on them was a little bit traumatic. They got scared and flopped over and didn't know what to do. And then when we put a leash on them, it was like hooking a trout, and it was like the dogs were leaping and kicking and flipping and howling. I mean, you would think we were like torturing them in real time, and all it was like there was a leash on them. Like, that's all it was. So we took the leash off quickly before the neighbors called, animal control services on us. We'll get there slowly but surely. It's a process. Every dog's got to learn it, so we'll get there. Beyond that, I mean, that took up the vast majority of my time. The only circle back I have is I'm still chipping away at Lords of the Fallen 2.0 with my wife. And I have to say that I think as the game goes on, I am liking it less than I did in the beginning. I think it gets off to a pretty good start. And if you're in the mood for a by-the-book Souls-like, it really checks all those boxes pretty well. But we've kind of just hit a couple weird snags, and I think the game just feels kind of lumpy and bumpy and unpolished in a couple different ways. I think one of the biggest things is that my wife and I each got a pretty good set of armor and a pretty good weapon a while ago. I'm talking hours and hours ago. And every single thing we've found since then, armor, swords, helmets, whatever, has all been significantly worse than what we've got. I'm rocking a hammer, and I'm not usually a hammer guy, but I got a hammer, upgraded it, and it has some scaling with strength and with magic, and I'm both a magic and a strength guy, so it's a good fit. That hammer is doing 546 damage, and I know that you know, it's hard to tell if that's a lot, but we went through a little hidden section, went across this little area. It was just a bonus area where you get some loot at the end of it. We got a sword, and the sword was doing 142. So I had 500 and whatever it was, 30 or 40, more than 500 certainly. And I pick up a brand new thing, which is at least 3/4 of the way through the game, and it's doing 100. And I'm what's going on with weapon scaling and armor scaling in this game? I suspect that we're not going to find anything else worth using for the remainder of the game, which is kind of a bummer because playing with loot and swords and stuff is kind of the fun part of doing a Souls. And this game did not really strike me as one of those old-timey FromSoft games where you commit to a weapon from the beginning and you stick with it for the entire game because the upgrade materials are so scarce and you can't afford to switch. That was like the old way of thinking, and I think it's good that we move past that. And I'm not quite sure what's going on here because nothing I'm finding is anywhere near good as what I'm using. And it doesn't make sense to change up just for variety if you're losing 100, 200 points of damage. So that's crazy. The armor is also like really weak that we're finding. So something is topsy-turvy. Something is throwing it off, and I don't know what the deal is with that. I will also say that the further we get in the game, very few of the shortcuts make any kind of sense. I think in one particular level, like in the mine level, which sucked, the shortcuts did make sense. So I'm like, okay, open a shortcut, come back here. That saves us some time. Okay, that was good. But for the majority of the game, and I think we're at least 3/4 of the way through the game, the shortcuts just don't make any sense. So that's weird. You drop a shortcut. It almost feels like they're doing it just to do it, but like it's not a place we need to go back to. It's not a place that saves us time. So that's kind of weird. And I will say also, the thing that's really dragging us down the most at this point is like we have now explored everywhere that we can think of to explore, and we just don't know where to go. It's not exactly like a hub and spoke level design the way that like Dark Souls 2 was, or the way that Demon Souls was, because I like those. I like hub and spoke a lot, where you start off at a hub, you pick a direction, and you just progress along that spoke until you get to the end, where it's like a boss or the thing you need to do, the big bad, whatever, and then you go back to the hub and choose a different spoke. That design makes a lot of sense to me. I know that more people prefer the traditional Dark Souls 1 level design, where it's kind of like everything is smushed like a sandwich, and you have shortcuts up and down, and everything kind of loops together. I mean, I can get down with that. Not my favorite, but I'm fine with it. But Lords of the Fallen 2 seems to kind of mix both of those, where it's like sandwich on a spoke, or maybe a spoke in a sandwich. I guess I'm not sure what they're doing, and I find myself often confused, and I'm not sure if I've been somewhere, if we're coming back, if we need to go there. It's not good enough to where you can skip a map. They think they're FromSoft, and they're not. So they're not visually distinct enough. And at this point, we just, like, literally, I'm looking at my wife, she's looking at me, we don't know where to go, we don't know what to do, we've exhausted everything that we can think of, and so now we need to go to an FAQ or a walkthrough to be like, okay, so literally what is the next step in this game? We can't figure out how to progress. So that's a bummer. We've played basically every Souls game out there. All the FromSoft stuff, all of the adjacent stuff. It's not like we are Souls newbies by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I think just the opposite. I think we're pretty well scarred Souls veterans. But this one, just the level design is just pretty whack, and I just don't understand how they expect people to figure it out. So it's not a bad game. I think I'm cooling off on it a little bit, but we're certainly going to push through to the end. I feel like there's just a hop, skip, and a jump left. A couple more bosses. I think we're probably going to be done, but it's always a bummer to me when I need to get out the FAQ just because like I just can't figure out what we're supposed to do. So a little bit of poor planning on the developer's part. Not super keen on that, but oh well. You do what you can do. All right, this is going to be probably a short show because I have a couple of pretty significant games that I am actually very excited about, and both of them are still under embargo. I cannot tell you what they are. I'm not sure that I can even mention that I'm playing them. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. I'm not going to risk it. But basically, one of them I can talk about in the next show, which I'm going to be playing like later today, and the next one I can talk about on the show after. So I've kind of got my future planned out here, and because of that, it means today's show is kind of thin. And also I was expecting Carlos to be here, and he usually brings 3 or 4 games. So I thought that was going to balance it out and kind of give me some space to play these embargo games. So I guess we'll just have to make do with what we've got. Just to give you a quick hint, I guess, the first embargo game I'm going to be talking about is one that I was extremely excited for. It is from a developer whose first game I thought was marvelous. It is an indie. It is a smaller game. And if it's not too much of a hint, the original game was a 2D kind of emotional journey-like type game with some puzzles where you are trying to get from point A to point B across a continent. Really, really wonderful game. Loved it so much. This is the new game that's under embargo is kind of a departure. They've gone from 2D to 3D, and there are animals involved. I bet if you know the games that I like, then you know what game I'm talking about, but I have not broken embargo. Talking about that one next week. And the other game that I am, I guess, excited for, yeah, I guess I am, is a kind of a sci-fi horror title from developers who do a lot of horror games. I'm not real big on the horror in general when it comes to video games, but I do like sci-fi horror. So I did really enjoy Dead Space, and me and the wife played all the Dead Space games. We co-opted as much as possible, and we each played through all of them. Anything along like sci-fi horror, I think, is kind of my jam, but not just horror. So this game I'll be talking about in 2 weeks is definitely sci-fi horror. Reminds me a little bit of Returnal. Reminds me a little bit of Event Horizon. Reminds me a little bit of, I don't know, Silent Hill, maybe-ish. So I can't say any more than that, but look forward to my coverage of that in 2 weeks. And just know that I am playing those things now, and I'll talk about them when I can. But in the meantime, what can I talk about? Well, I'm glad you asked. First up is a game called One-Eyed Likho, Likho, and it comes to us from the same developers who did Black Book. Now, you might not know Black Book, but if you listen to the show, you probably know it. If you are a GameCritics.com reader, then you probably know it. It was my #1 undisputed game of the year when it came out a couple years ago. So Black Book, I wouldn't be surprised if you haven't even heard of it. It was a Kickstarter title. I kickstarted it back in the day. It took a while to get where it was going. It finally came out, and it just blew me the fuck away. It was all about Eastern European lore and mythology, about a girl named Vasilisa who becomes a witch, and like an actual, like, hey, I am now friends with Satan, I am doing black magic witch. But she's also like a human being. She was friends with the people in her village. She used her powers for both good and evil. She worked with demons, but she could employ them in various ways that were not always just evil. And so the whole game was kind of exploring like what these powers were, how they interacted with the Eastern European mythology, a lot of like monsters and demons and hobgoblins and bugbears that we're not familiar with here in the West. And so it was like encyclopedic in its approach. I thought it was great. I learned so much playing that game, and the game was just like wild. Story fucking went places. The ending blew my mind. Like, Black Book was just like fucking fantastic. I love it. And as far as I know, this is the next game from the Black Book developers. Pretty big departure, as Black Book was a kind of a, I don't necessarily want to call it a visual novel, but it was like a deck builder, and it was also an RPG, and it was also some action elements, and it was also some mystery elements, puzzle solving. So this new one, One-Eyed Likho, it looks to me from first glance like more of a walking simulator type horror type mythology game. So full disclosure, I did get a preview code from the publisher. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, I had problems running it. I am not necessarily a PC guy, so when anything goes wrong on my computer, I am really at a loss as to how to fix it. So something was not really quite working on my computer, so I was not able to play the whole demo, and I had a lot of problems with it. And again, that's kind of why I spend most of my time on consoles. So full disclosure, I had a lot of technical problems. I could not get the audio to come through on the game, and I'm not blaming the game. I mean, it could have been my headphones. Maybe it was my computer settings. I couldn't figure it out. I messed with it for a while, and it just didn't work. Also, the game froze my computer a couple times, and again, I'm not blaming the developers. Maybe it was something in my settings. I don't know, but like, I got about a couple minutes in, and then my whole system froze, and I couldn't like Alt-Tab out, and I couldn't get out of it, and then it kind of came back on its own, but then it froze again, and I'm like, okay, if this is going to keep happening, I've got like a bunch of like work tabs open, and I've got some other stuff, and I can't afford for my computer to crash. So I stopped pretty early on, which means I did not see very much of the demo. But with all that said, I mean, I don't really have to even see the demo. I'm gonna like play this game sight unseen. I hope they bring it to console just to kind of help me avoid all the PC problems. Even if they don't, I will still play it. And I'm guessing that once the final version comes out, maybe it'll be smoothed out. Maybe it'll play nicer with my computer, or my computer will play nicer with it, whichever way. But from what I can tell, the opening scene is about a blacksmith, and the game is black and white. He's in like an Eastern European town, and this seems to be like in the past, you know, blacksmithery times, like certainly not modern day. And he has this like weird premonition of a dream. He goes to talk to his friend in the village, who is I forget who he is, the baker, or he's the farrier. I forget, whatever. He's like another artisan in the village. Doesn't matter. And so the two of them decide that they have not seen evil, and they want to go out into the world to go and find it. And so the game begins. They walk through the woods, and they're kind of talking to each other, the pair of them, as they go through the dark woods. And then it's first person. You can control your viewpoint with the mouse. You can control your field of view. A couple settings you can change. And as from what I've seen so far, You're just walking and talking and answering questions about like your thoughts and stuff like this. And at this point, the game started to like have those freezes that I told you about. So I wasn't able to keep going. I was afraid the whole thing was going to crash, and I just got out of it quickly. But regardless, interesting start. I'm curious to learn more about Eastern European mythology. I loved Black Book. Loved Black Book. That is like an outstanding, like once in a lifetime kind of experience. And I strongly recommend it to anybody who likes indie experiences or experimental kind of experiences, things where you certainly learn. They have a lot to say, and I loved what they did in Black Book. That's going to be one of my favorite games of all time, certainly. So even though this demo and I didn't get along, doesn't matter. I don't hold any ill will, and I look forward to the full version once I can dive fully into it and see what we can see. This game has my full support just based on the strength of what they did last time. Pretty incredible debut, and I'm betting they can do it again. So that was One-Eyed Likho, Likho. You can wishlist it now. It's on Steam. Check it out. And also, if you haven't played Black Book, by all means, please go play Black Book. If you like this show, if you like the games that I like, if what I said sounds interesting, Black Book, I mean, it's rough. It's got some lumps and bumps, but boy, is it worth the effort. It is worth the journey, worth your time for sure. So check out Black Book, and also wishlist One-Eyed Likho, and I will circle back once I get the full version and have a chance to play through the entire thing. So very excited, still very excited. All right, next up is Tiny Bookshop. This game debuted at the most recent Nintendo Indie event, and I believe they like shadow dropped it like the same day, if memory serves. And I did get sent a code from the publisher, so thank you very much for that. So this is billed as a kind of a cozy game, which I think is probably pretty true. The gist of it is that you are a person who you never see. You just are kind of, I don't know, just the player, or you're disembodied or whatever. You don't have an avatar in the game. You don't ever see your own character. So you are a person who is going to a town, like a new area. And the reasons, I guess you can just make up the reason yourself. Like at the beginning of the game, when someone is asking you questions, you can say something like, I'm looking for adventure, I'm trying to find myself, or I'm trying to discover where I belong, or something like that. You know, just something like real kind of like vague. So you end up going to this town, you've got a car, and you've got a trailer, and the trailer is like a mini little bookmobile. Art style is pretty cool. It's really minimal. Like the colors are kind of nice. They look like pleasantly washed out. Everything is kind of just like looking pretty good. I will say that when the game starts, the text for information you're supposed to go through is pretty small. That doesn't really pan out too well. When you're actually playing the game and talking to characters that are speaking to you, that text is much larger, and I think that's no problem. But when you're getting like instructional text, or text about how the game works, it's pretty small. I would say, for me, uncomfortably small, and there's no way to adjust that. So that's kind of a bummer. So how the game plays out is like you pull up to a location, and then you park your car and your trailer, and you pop open the windows and pop open the door, and then you're like open for business. And people just like randomly walk up to your trailer and go inside, and then inside you have a series of books. There's a couple of menus you have to kind of go through, but you start the game with just one bookshelf, and you can fit 40 books. And I think there are like 8 different genres or something. They're color coded and they have symbols on them, so it's pretty easy to tell what's what. But it's like nonfiction, sci-fi, fantasy, kids books, travel books, and whatever. There's like a romance, I think, is one of them or something. So you have like these separate genres. They're all color coded. You put as many books of each type on the shelf as you want, and then you open up for business. People come in and buy the books if they like. And the game spends a lot of time talking about like percentage of sale, like knowing which books are most popular in which area. And then there are items you can get that will increase your chance of selling one book or another. To be honest, it feels a little bit at odds with the cozy nature of the gameplay to be that kind of like in the weeds with the menus. It seemed like a weird fit to me. And to be perfectly honest, I didn't spend that much time on it. But you have a little diary, and so every time you go to a different location, you'll jot down like, oh, I was at the docks, and I sold a lot of travel books, and I sold a lot of, fact books, like, nonfiction or whatever. Fact books, Jesus. So you can kind of like have a guide like that. But it's interesting because when you park, you don't really do anything. Like, you just sit there and like you watch people come and go. They kind of passively buy these books or they don't. And then every once in a while, someone will ask you for advice. They'll be like, hey, I can't find something I'm looking for. And a little bubble will pop up. They're like, I'm looking for a sci-fi book that's also a classic and that it also has like animals. And so they ask you, the player, And the most interesting thing about this game is that the books in the game are all actual real world books. They're not fictional books. And so like when you're looking at your bookshelf, there's like friggin' Lord of the Rings, and there's like, like all the, Sherlock Holmes, and there's Encyclopedia Britannica, and there's all the real books that are like from the real world. And so if you're a book person, like you're probably going to know like a lot of these books, and you'll know like what they're about and what to recommend. If you don't have encyclopedic knowledge of books, even there's a little text description that pops up for each book that'll help guide you. And so, for example, this person who's like, oh, I want a sci-fi book that's a classic and has animals, I'd be like, okay, here's Dune by Frank Herbert, because it's sci-fi, it's also classic, and it's got giant sandworms in it, so this seems to fit your criteria. And then the person will take it, and they'll either say, yeah, amazing, this is the book I wanted, or they'll be like, this isn't what I wanted. And if you get it right, they'll give you a little boost to sales, and other people will get excited, and they'll start buying books too. But it's pretty passive other than that. That part, I have to say, kind of caught me by surprise. I don't know what I was expecting, but it is honestly pretty boring to watch your trailer parked there, and people just kind of come and go. And for spans of time, they're just like buying books on their own. You're not really doing anything. You're just watching it. As this is happening, you can pan left and right in the area, and you get kind of like a third-person external view of your car and your trailer. You can look to the left of the area. You can look to the right of the area. And sometimes there's a person there to talk to. In the first area, there's like a sailor who sits there. He'll sell you some stuff for your trailer, like decorative stuff if you want. There's a dog to pet, which is great. But other than that, like it's kind of just like that. And so you're driving from place to place. You park. You buy books online. Like after every day, you look in your catalog or your newspaper or something, and people have books for sale. Like they're getting rid of books, and so you buy these secondhand books, and you don't know what's in them. It'll be like Grandma says, "I got to get rid of these books. I got to clear out my attic." Or somebody will say, oh, my dad died and I got to get rid of these books. Please buy them. Or someone will say, oh, I just like, I'm tired of reading. I don't want these ones anymore. And like you pick and choose these bundles of books. You buy them sight unseen, basically, and then you add them to your collection. And then, after a while, you've got like a big backlog of books that you can kind of add to your bookshelf. You don't get to pick and choose, though. So when you're putting books on your shelf, you can choose, like let's say you're looking at fiction. You can choose to put any number of fiction books on your shelf, but you can't choose each title. So like you'll just put like fiction, and then it's only after the book is on the shelf that you'll see, oh, it's Lord of the Rings, and this one is Dune, and this one is, Dragons of Pern, or whatever. And so that's a little bit weird too. I guess there's like more of this game seems to be at odds between min-maxing your percentage and types of sales, and also it's cozy, cool seaside vibe, and I want to just chill and talk to people about books. And those two things, I don't know that they necessarily go together for me. I didn't think there was enough for me to do. Recommending books was kind of fun because I used to read a ton of books. Not so much these days because I'm pretty busy, but I used to read a ton of books. So I knew a lot of the books that were in there, and that was kind of neat. But also, just watching people buy books is really boring, and I felt like the days were too long. And I often wanted to like find a time skip so I could just like speed up through it and simply go from request to request, or just end the day or something to move on. But then there wasn't really anything to move on to. So I think it's a little bit too passive for me, a little bit too chill. I also found it was weird that when you buy certain things for your van or your bookmobile, there's like a continuing cost. Like you buy a couple bookshelves and it's like, well, this adds +8 to your operation costs. I'm like, why? If I buy a shelf and I set up a shelf, am I renting the shelf? Does this shelf need to be fed energy? Like what's happening? Why is there a cost for the shelf? Once you buy it, that should be it. So that was a little bit strange. I don't know why that you're there. The only reason I can think of is because of it's being gamified, right? Like you have to have enough money to keep operating. And if you have more stuff in your van, then you have to pay a higher cost, which doesn't really make real world sense. But I guess they want to make, have a little drain on your money to make you think about how to sell more books. And I don't know, it's interesting, I think, but altogether it did not hook me. I didn't feel enough of a character connection. Every once in a while you get like a little side quest to do for somebody, but none of it really connected very well with me. And I thought the book selling part was way too passive, and I wasn't really that interested in like min-maxing like your percentages of book sales. So I can see a world in which there's a version of this game that comes out slightly differently would be pretty fun or interesting, but in its current incarnation, it just did not fit for me on any level. It didn't didn't quite get there. So I appreciate this doing something different. I appreciate the real world book connection. I'm all for cozy games and having nice games where we're not worrying about ammo or health packs or anything like that. But I think this one for me just didn't quite get there. Not enough personality, not enough stuff to do, and honestly, after about an hour or so, I was pretty bored of it, and I needed to just get out. So there you go. That is Tiny Bookshop. I'm glad that it's here. I think it's super interesting, but I think this one is perhaps not for me. Hang on, folks. I hear a knock at the door. Who could that be? It's
Hello?
Carlos. Carlos, you're back. Where'd you go?
Yeah. Oh, you opened the door really fast.
It was. I was sitting right next. I podcast right next to my door. I'm glad you're here, dude. I was wondering what happened to you because earlier in the show, I was like, well, he either went to Aruba or he got syphilis again. Which one was it?
Neither of those. Jeez, that's what you go to?
I mean, there's only so many options.
I don't like the syphilis option at all.
Well, a couple of...
Also, I'm not putting myself in position to have that happen anyhow. No, I was just in traffic, and then an explosion happened, and then I fell off a cliff, and then I floated down to the bottom and was rescued, and then brought back here to my house, and now I'm home.
Wow, that's amazing. Who rescued you?
An angel? I wasn't ready for this. Yes, yeah, that one.
Yeah, then you gotta be ready, man. You gotta be on your toes,
Yeah.
buddy.
But weirdly, it was a discount angel, and like it had like just the wings that you had to put on with tape. Like
Oh, so probably
it's a
could only
costume.
fly a very short distance, right?
Yeah, it was a long ride here. That's why probably it took me a while.
Well,
yeah.
I'm glad that there was intervention from above to save you, and I'm glad that you're here now. So let's integrate you into the current episode, man, and let's just get rolling on here. I've covered a few things in your absence, but since you're here, I am very curious to talk about Echoes of the End. Now, I want to say it was John from over Gaming in the Wild was talking about this one. Is this game from an indie studio over in Iceland? Is that right?
Yeah, called Mirkur Games.
Yeah. Okay, so we
Sure,
are
I'm
talking about the same
not saying
thing.
it
Yes,
correctly.
we are.
Yeah, but the publisher's Deep Silver, which I often like a lot of the things they publish.
Yeah, I am a longtime Deep Silver fan for sure, and I do have an interest in many of the things that they publish. Hold on a second, dude. Pause for 1 second. Don't stop the recording, but I got to check my audio. Something seems funny. Hold on 1 second.
Okay, you sound good on my end, but okay.
Something looks weird on my end. So 1 second.
I hope it wasn't earlier too. You said.
I did have one section where maybe you can even answer this. So two things. At one point, it was like, oh, your system's competing for resources, and it just like blanked out like a lot of my audio. I'll have to go re-record that. It's fine. But something I've noticed recently, and I don't know what this is like I'll be recording, and the first part of the show before you joined on was totally fine. I'm looking at the waveform, and it seems like normal size. Now that I've stopped, and it's not anything to do with you, because this happened to me last time as well. When I go back to record again, like I close the file, start the file over, I'm looking at the waveform now, and the waveform is really small. And so I'm afraid I'm going to come in like really like quiet on the episode, and I don't know what to do about that. I haven't changed anything. I didn't touch anything. All I did was close Audacity, open it back up. And the waveform definitely looks different. So any ideas on that?
I mean, it could be the mic itself. Like, is there like no, there's usually not a volume on the mic. Mine's pretty low right now too, but I'm not. Audacity seems to record low, like the small waveforms, and I usually always just turn it up in post.
I'll have to check it out. I'll have to check it out.
I
I don't know what's going on, but like this happened to me last time, and it definitely came in softer, even though I literally didn't touch anything. And this time, literally touched nothing. All I did was close Audacity, open Audacity. That's it. And it's
you have
different.
a lot of gremlins that I
do.
never understand.
I really do.
It should not change. But there is a volume. I don't want to touch it right now, but in the audio setup, I believe there's a volume in Audacity.
I don't know. I'll check it out. I mean, I see myself. It's still working. It just is concerning to me that the waveforms are so small. But
If it's so small, it's either two things though. One, it's using the wrong mic, which would be bad, or B, it's just lower, and you could turn it up in post, which is easy.
I'll figure it out. Okay. All right. Let's get back to it. So, and now it's really fucking loud. I don't know what's going on, dude. Okay. Anyway, what were we saying?
Well, wait, you mean like the waveform got?
Yeah,
really
it got
huge?
real big all of a sudden. Now it's like huge.
Well, it literally is the distance you are from the mic too.
I feel like my feet haven't moved, but anyway, okay, it doesn't matter. I'll figure it out. It's fine. Okay.
Right.
We're gonna pick it back up. I gotta make a note here.
Echoes of the End,
Yeah.
and I can just start in. because you said you like things from Deep Silver.
Yeah, exactly. All right, go for it.
So Echoes of the End, I don't have too much to say about it though, even though I'm excited to play it and play more, and I'll tell everybody about why I think it's pretty decent, and I kind of dig the vibe already, but I haven't played enough of it to really be like, it's perfect or whatever.
Right.
But essentially, it's also kind of relaxing. But you play as Rin, a magic user woman, and you have a brother, and you start the game, together, and immediately, like, it just draws me in with like their banter and their talking, and I just dig kind of the vibe that they're going with already. Like, it just feels like they're brother sister, and they're making fun of each other, and they're bringing up old memories, and it's also very gorgeous, and it's a third-person game, so think action RPG kind of game, but with puzzles, and you are a magic user, but you have a sword, so you're basically doing the dodge roll attack, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
And then you're also doing magic against the enemies, but then the magic is really there for the puzzles.
Oh, really?
So
Okay, so like
setup.
mostly sword, but then magic for the puzzles?
Yeah, magic for the combat too, but very little. I haven't really used it a ton. It kind of like do telekinesis kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
But it seems kind of weak, at least at the beginning. And I'm really just kind of heading things with my sword and dodging. But then when you get to like literally all the time, you just get to a new area, and it's like, oh, we can't go that way unless you do something,
Yeah.
But it's just relaxing. It's kind of nice because in those moments you get to hear a lot of the dialogue, and you're learning the story about your dad and the backstory there. He passed, and there's like a whole story. I don't even want to say too much about the story that I know, because it is fun to just kind of learn it as you go. And I do already have a spoiler that was told to me, so I know something, but I won't say it on this podcast. But in general, I just wanted to bring it to the audience because I think, one, it's just cool to have a familial story, a story about, just it's kind of a relaxed vibe game. It's people have mentioned like it feels like an old school game. You know how we get that a lot.
Like in what sense? Like from like PS2 or 3 or something like that?
Or like PS3, I guess.
Okay.
Or like a PS3, Xbox 360 game where you're like just hitting things and dodging and there's doing puzzles. I don't really want to call it old school because, by the way, it's beautiful. I think the graphics are awesome. But yeah, you're just going through this landscape. There's goblin-y type things. You're learning the story. You're doing puzzles. And I really like it.
Okay.
That's it.
Sounds fun and pretty straightforward, I guess. I guess my first, possibly only question is, since it's coming from a smaller team in Iceland, is there anything necessarily like Icelandic about it? Are they speaking a specific language? Does the landscape look like Iceland? Are they eating like mostly fish, or like is there, I don't know, like what
Nice.
anything about it that would suggest to you that it is coming from this area, or not really?
Well, their dialect, they definitely have a different dialect in their voice. And yeah, by the way, they're both, let's see, I'm trying to look it up to see if I want to get it right, where they're from, the characters, but they definitely sound like they have a different dialect in their voice. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And in general, they're like people of color. So, I don't know where they hail from, but they, aren't your classic, I'm a white, military dude who's gonna
Right.
destroy the whole earth.
Gotcha. And maybe it's just a fantasy setting. Maybe it's not even Icelandic at all. Maybe, I mean, just because the developers are from there doesn't mean they're necessarily tapping into their cultural roots or their nationality or anything like that. It could just be just fantasy setting, I'm guessing. So
Yeah, it's someone said something like in a review, Fantasy Iceland.
okay.
But yeah, I think in general they just feel unique as characters, and they're well written already. I mean, I'm just in the beginning of the game, so I just think you can tell that it's got quality and it's got care. And I when I'm doing a lot of other kind of fast-paced action games, it's nice to go to this where I'm like just taking my time.
Gotcha. All right,
Yeah.
cool. Sounds. I've heard some people say that it's like kind of like a double A weekender. Is that kind of like an accurate vibe so far?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Okay.
Which I'm not mad at all.
Oh no,
right?
I'm not mad. No, some of those are great experiences, man, for sure.
Yeah, I just really, really dig it, and I think more people should check it out. And it's like $30, I want to say.
Oh, even better. So like a discount, or not a more affordable price. Like that would
Yeah,
suggest that you're not going to should not expect the triple A, like bleeding edge graphics and all that kind of stuff. So which is kind of fine.
but it's very nice to look at. So yeah.
All right, all right. Actually, let's jump script a little bit, Carlos. Since we're talking about this
Okay.
double A stuff, I think a natural segue would be into Mafia: The Old Country, which I know that you've got one hot sentence about.
Yes.
But before you get to your sentence, let's talk about just kind of in general. I have not played Mafia: The Old Country. I believe CJ is going to be covering it for us at Game Critics. I love CJ, great guy, great reviewer. So he's got that well in hand. But something that I've seen a lot of people talking about lately is how some people are like quote unquote surprised at what Mafia is. I guess people were expecting like something akin to like a slightly smaller Grand Theft Auto, and they're like, oh, we were expecting all the bells and whistles and a giant open world and all this kind of stuff and side missions up the ass and all this other, all this kind of like stuff that you might think Rockstar will deliver, and they probably will. But not every developer is either A, capable of doing that, or B, even wants to do that. And from what I gather, Mafia kind of surprised people by going in the other direction. But at the same time, I think there is a really significant argument to be made that not every game needs to shoot for that standard, because that, number one, that's crazy. Number two, I think the example given was, does anybody really care that like the horse's balls shrink in the cold weather in Red Dead? Does it matter? I mean, how
Oh,
much?
good golly!
How
I
much?
did not know that.
Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, the horse's testicles actually expand and
Jeez.
shrink based on the ambient temperature in Red Dead. But it's like, who fucking cares? Like, how much time and
Yeah.
resources and energy did you devote to that? And it has literally no gameplay effect whatsoever. So to expect games to keep doing that level of like meaningless detail seems kind of crazy. So I don't know what you're going to say about Mafia, but like from that perspective, like, do you think it's worthwhile to still have these kind of like we just talked about, double A weekenders, or games that are smaller or linear or that don't try to shoot for GTA every time?
Oh man, what a setup you just gave me. so so you did a 180 on me, because essentially what I did is I started off by saying that I do want those double A weekenders, and I'm enjoying the Echoes game.
Okay.
That said, I came prepared to this podcast to say I really didn't like Mafia: The
Oh
Old
no, I
Country.
didn't know whether you liked it or didn't like it. I guess
Yeah,
wrong on that
yeah.
one. Okay.
So it sucks because you're right, and I'm also right about not liking the game. Because I think, to your point, yeah, of course I want a ton more double A, shorter experiences. I love those. I just love those.
Same.
And that's why I'm playing Echoes. But Echoes is different in the fact that it's a new IP. It's a story that I'm learning about. Mafia, we both know that whole story a millionth time. Right?
Oh sure.
We've watched all the movies, we've seen the TV shows, and we played the games. So it's definitely a fresh take in the fact that you're kind of a farmhand, miner actually in Sicily, and it's like you're just going from the ground up, literally the ground up, to try to do anything in that kind of mafia world.
Is there a sequence where you're crushing grapes with your feet?
No, you're nice. You're basically digging rocks,
Oh,
in the mines.
All right.
I'll talk about the game for a second, but to answer your point, I think there should be more games like that, and not every game needs to be bloated and huge. But that said, Mafia 3 was one of my favorite experiences ever. Like, I think I'm on the niche version of that, but like, I don't know if everybody felt that way. I love that game, and I love that it was open world, and it was a GTA. It was a time period GTA, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was, and that's unique to have. It's like a Vice City, or I guess whatever, but other games, other properties doing that, where it's in the 70s, you collected like old Playboys, you were this guy who came back from the Vietnam War. Everything felt real, and then you got to be in this world and do story missions that were incredible, but also just fuck around and have fun. So it's hard to go from that to this, because this is so linear that it hurts.
Really? Okay. So tell us like what is this besides linear? Tell us more.
You basically start, and I like the starting of like, you're just in the mines, you have nothing. You find like the Don, and you're like, okay, you're going to try to work for him and try to, impress him and actually become something. That's a cool like storyline. But the gameplay is like, the stealth is boring and really old school in the way that it's not fun, and it just feels like it's back in time.
It was like one of those like you get spotted once and the mission has to restart or something.
that happens in one thing, but no, in general, after that happens in the beginning. They always do that in the kind of tutorial. But then later, it's more like you can stand in front of somebody like stealthed, and they don't see you.
Oh,
You know,
gotcha.
so you're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Okay.
And then everything devolves into a knife fight. So even if people are shooting each other, if like there's a main boss, he's like, "Well, let's fight with knives," and it's kind of like a mini game knife fight thing.
Oh, okay. They gotta reenact that little scene from Resident Evil 4 or whatever, huh?
I guess, yeah. There's too many knife fights.
Okay.
It just feels corny and old school. And then when you get in a car, the cars are cool. A lot of the sound effects are cool. The setting is beautiful. There's so much interesting thing about the story, but it's just so on rails that you can't do anything else besides learn the story. Like you're just in the story.
Okay. Okay.
So if you like that, and I've seen reviews being split, and you're in the mood for that, and like a weekender, like you're saying, or a weave in a week, that's what this is. It's like playing a TV show, and that's kind of cool. But I just wasn't in the mood for that. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
And I just came from Mafia 3. Not just came, but like my last experience with
Right,
Mafia
yeah.
was 2 and 3, the 2 remake. Remember that?
Yes, I do recall. Yes.
Yeah, and that one was like a beautiful open world. It was incredible to be around and do stuff. So, and then Mafia 2 is so fun where it remembers things. Like if you shoot up like a store and they try to go back to the store, they're like, "You get out of here."
Just like in real life.
Just like in real life. So, anyways, yeah, it's hard for me because I was been craving another GTA. Obviously, GTA 6 got delayed, and then this is like a story. So that's my short. I said much more than a sentence.
Interesting. Interesting. I probably will not play this one. I've got a pretty full schedule, and this one wasn't really. The Mafia series is fine, but it's not like one of my favorites, and so I wasn't like burning to get to this or anything, so I probably won't play it. But it is interesting to see the split, and it does kind of raise the question of like what people expect versus what people can produce versus what should be out there versus, like what is the minimum buy-in for any game these days. It seems like maybe. I mean, I'm definitely, and I know you are too, we're all up for the AA weekenders and the shorter. Linear is not a bad word in my book, but perhaps this one goes too far in the wrong direction. Maybe it's too old school. Maybe it's too linear, you think?
It's too old school, and it's also like it could have kept the Mafia 3 stuff and still just kept that tight storyline and let you like have a little bit of fun on the side. Like just go down that hill in your car in Sicily. You know what I mean? Like let me go that way, but there's invisible walls. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that sounds pretty restrictive, pretty old school.
Yeah, it's like the car hits a wall. So it's like, all right, just let me be in this believable world a little bit more. That's my big critique.
Okay, so maybe too far in the other direction there, but I certainly think there is space for games which are not GTA, and I definitely think that it is unrealistic and often, I mean, just quite silly, really, for people to think that every game has to match that standard, that every game should match that standard. There's so many types of experiences to be had. I don't really want every developer to go broke, dumping $50 billion into a game where the horse's balls shrink when it gets cold. I mean, I can live without movable horse testicles. It's fine. Like that kind of stuff I think is not necessary. So
I could have also lived without ever knowing that fact. So thank you for
Well,
giving me that visual.
Go back to Red Dead and like check it out for yourself. Like fire it up, get a horse, and like
Oh my God.
fast forward until you get to summer. You're like, oh yeah, those balls are bigger. That's weird, huh? Interesting.
By the way, podcast name: Those balls are bigger.
Those balls are bigger. Yes. All right.
Okay, let's get off that.
Let's move on. I've got one more game to talk about, and Carlos, I know you've got something as well. So, folks, I know that I have talked about Discounty before, but this is the first time that the embargo has been down, so I am now free to talk about the entire game. In the past, I did mention there was a demo, and I talked extensively about the demo. Really liked it. I talked last week just really briefly to mention that I was still playing it, but this is the first week we're going to get the whole full meal deal. So Discounty, 2D indie game where you play a person coming to a brand new town to help your aunt. Your aunt has a grocery store and they need help running it. And so you get to this town and you got to help out. And like you basically just take over operations of the shop while your aunt kind of like semi-retires or whatever. It's 2D, top down, pixel based. The art is super cute. I think the whole vibe is pretty cute. The town is small. I think there's only like 3 streets. And altogether, there's maybe like, 10, 15 buildings total. There's not a lot of locations. And I think that's a plus. I think that's absolutely a plus. You get to learn the town pretty quickly. You get to learn the citizens pretty quickly. You get to learn the area pretty quickly. And that's all important because you're always on a clock in this game. And when you take over the store, it's basically just like empty. I don't know what the hell your aunt was doing before you got there, but it's a mess. And so you've got like a back room where you order supplies, and you've got a little cardboard crusher. You've got a stock room where you keep stock, and then you got your front area, like the retail shop, and you can set it up however you want. You can put coolers and regular shelves, and you can put like whatever food you got in there and just stock it up. You can have, I think, in the beginning up to like 5 of the same item per shelf. So like 5 boxes of pasta on one shelf, 5 cookies on one shelf or whatever. And so people, like, you set it all up, you open up for the day at 9 o'clock, people come in, and kind of different from Tiny Bookshop. This is one of the games I talked about before you joined the podcast here, Carlos. In Tiny Bookshop, you open up your bookshop and people kind of just come in and do whatever. It's pretty passive. But in this county, even though on paper it seems the same experience, it feels like a very different experience because you're working the register, but you also have a character. You can walk around the store. So sometimes people spill stuff on the floor and like it gets sticky, so you got to go like clean it up real quick. Sometimes people cannot find an item. You have to go help them and tell them like either where it is or put it back on the shelf if it's gone, or if you don't have any, tell them that you're sold out. And if you don't, they get mad because they feel frustrated. You have to run back to the counter to check people out. And there's a couple different methods of checkout. When you start off, it's like literally like punching in the numbers by yourself. It'll be like people come up with on the conveyor belt with like 2 heads of lettuce, and so you're like 2 times $16 for, you know, like whatever. So you're kind of doing that, and it's really kind of funky. But if you upgrade before long, you get like a UPC scanner, and then that kind of changes the gameplay a little bit, where you're holding your stick in the direction of like where the label is. So like if the label's on the bottom, then you tilt the item so that it points to the bottom, hits the scanner. It goes like pretty fast. It's good. So you're doing that stuff too. And so there's lots of stuff to do. Like you're very busy while people are buying stuff all the time. You're not just sitting there like idle. Once the store closes, you got to like restock the stuff all by yourself. I am hoping that once I expand my store, I get a fucking assistant, because I'm like, dude,
I know. I was gonna say,
I need more than one dude. Yes.
Come on.
Safeway has more than one employee, okay? Like, you got to have, like, a couple folks work in this fucking store. I'm hoping to get an employee, but, like, after the doors close, you restock all the shelves, then you take stock, you got to order more stuff, and it's really funny because you put in an order. It's like the guy shows up in, like, 5 seconds. He's like, hey, I'm here. Here's your order. And, like, it's pretty good. You get the stuff, put it away in the stock room, put it on the shelf, make sure everything's loaded up, clean up the floors, and then you go to bed. And so that's, like, the core gameplay, but there's other stuff, too. There's lots of other people in the town, and everybody's got like a little side quest. There's like some people don't like each other. Some people are up to no good and like something shady going on. 2 people have like competing stores, and they're spying on each other. So like you kind of like talk to everybody in town to figure out like what's going on. And it's all pretty, like, I don't want to say it's like light duty in the sense that there's not a lot of content there, because I think there is, but it's like you can manage it easily. There's quests that are tracked in the UI. You don't ever really have to go to like an FAQ because everything is pretty simple and straightforward, but like there's lots of stuff to do outside the store. So like when you're not busy in the store, and you are busy in the store, you're like talking to folks, doing a side quest, and then maybe there's some things to unlock, and like you do these other things. You go to the furniture store, kind of upgrade your store as you go. I think it's a really, really, really well done, really well thought out, really polished experience. And I like what it's doing. It is cozy, but it's not boring cozy. It's not lifeless cozy. It's like cozy in the sense that it's very manageable in size and scope. It's cozy in the sense that you always know what you need to do. There's always like a quest that you need to do. It's cozy in the sense that there's no fail state. You can fuck up and ring people's groceries wrong, or maybe you have one day when everybody's pissed at you because you forgot to put the spaghetti out and everybody wanted spaghetti that day or something. But nothing bad happens. Like you just close the store, you start again the next day and pick it back up. Like it's totally fine. And so there's all sorts of ways to like salvage your gameplay. You mess up your story, you can just throw that stuff away, buy some new stuff, rearrange it. I mean, there's a lot of, in that sense, I think it really checks the cozy box really well. I think the writing is pretty funny. I think the characters are likable. I really like what's going on in town. I'm pretty involved in like all the different side quests, and I really want to like finish them all. And I think the underlying takeaway from this game is that there is time pressure, but it's not a negative time pressure. It's time pressure in the sense that you've only got 3 hours in the morning. You get up at 6 and your store opens at 9. So you've got 3 hours to do whatever you want to do. For me, usually that's like going down to the harbor and getting some fish from the fishermen, or going to the factory that makes shampoo and getting the new load of shampoo and then coming back to the store. You can put up posters to advertise your store. You can maybe do some of the side quests and talk to people before 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock, you better get your ass beyond the register. You check out people for the day, which goes pretty quickly. Never feels like it drags. And then after that, I'm like restocking shelves, I'm ordering stuff, and if there's any time left, then I'll like recycle boxes and go back to my house and maybe do another side quest or two on the way. But there's never any time when you're sitting there just like with nothing to do. There's always like 3 things to do, and it's kind of up to you to do it. So it's got that kind of like busy feeling of like, you know, there's always like, oh, I got to do this and I got to do that and I got to do this. And the only day that you have to fuck around is Sunday. And Sunday is the day when you like, you close the store, the whole town is closed on Sunday. And then you like go to do like whatever long-term side quests there are. So for example, the guy who's a farmer sells me oats, and he's like, here's some oats. And I'm like, well, yo, what about like your sheep and your cheese and stuff? And he's like, no, you got to like sell some oats first. And you do that, and after a while he's like, okay, I can give you some more animal products, but you got to help me find my sheep that's lost in the woods. And so that's like a long term.
I was going to ask what the quests were.
Yeah, so like that one is like, that's a long term one. It takes time, and you're like, you can't get that done during the day because you're not going to be at your store, right? So like you got to wait till Sunday, and then you go like fuck around all day and go do that thing. Or like sometimes one of the competitors is like, oh, I know so and so spying on me. You go spy on them and find out what's going on. And so you do like a little tailing mission, which is like super easy.
By the way, that should be the weekend. That should be both days. Why the hell is it only one day?
Well, I mean, I don't know. You got to just open the store. People need stuff on Saturday, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. By the way, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but that originally was like the blue laws, if you know about that history.
How so?
It's like a church thing. So I just feel like it should be the weekend.
I mean,
should be both days.
Maybe when I get an assistant, if I do get one, maybe I can take an extra day off or something. I don't know, but
right, yeah, you need an assistant.
Yeah,
I was just going to ask about the quest because that's the big part of like these games where the shop part can be fun and relaxing, but it is nice to have a through line, at least for me.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there's not a main through line. It's like these little small ones, right?
Yeah, I mean, the main through line is just really like you want to upgrade the store, like you want to like get your store to be prominent. Okay. You want to increase, you know, your connections with the community. The community is fucking pissed at you because the first time you expand, you take over this like abandoned tea shop that nobody was using. It was like laying abandoned, so you expand your store into it. And everybody's like, oh, that was the favorite tea shop, and the guy retired, and how dare you touch his legacy? And so you've got like this bad PR going on. You're like, oh my God, like there was like spiders in the shop. I'm putting stuff in here. I'm using it. We should use it, you know, like that kind of thing. But there's various quests. There's like a magician in the town. There's like a surly teenager, the fisherman who's like depressed. I mean, everybody's got like these side quests, but really it's about like get the store running efficiently, get it bigger, get your empire going. And I think I'm going to like upgrade to like a much bigger store pretty soon. I've only got one more thing to do and I can upgrade. And I'm really looking forward to like, you know, just getting that whole thing. It feels really satisfying to do the stock, like restocking shelves. It sounds like it would be boring and tedious, but I feel like it's really satisfying to like, okay, had a good day of sales, stuff flew off the shelves. I'm going to go to my stock room and like restock it up. Takes a couple minutes. And it's just something about doing that routine kind of feels really good. And I think that's a good, cozy feeling for me. Seeing the money go up because you had a successful day of sales, seeing these happy customers come in, and then doing the side quest stuff, which I think is really supplementary to the main shopkeeper experience, which I think is appropriate and it should be that way. So I really like that a lot. I think everything in the game feels very well thought out. Nothing feels ignored. No pieces of the game feel like they are at odds with each other. The only thing that I think I might like is kind of like what you were alluding to. I would like a little bit more time, more than just Sunday, to do some of the side quests. But that's a pretty minor complaint. And the fact that I really want to do them is a good thing. And they're not just like a drag or a barrier or whatever. Like I'm really interested in doing them, you know? So yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it reminds me of, obviously that card game went viral. Did you ever play it? The one where you like have a card game shop, like a Pokemon shop? I forgot what it's called, but you ring up people. It's a first person though, and you ring up people and you go, you know, you just have to type in $2.99 like you said, and you sell packs of cards and everything that goes with it, like what's the word? One, like there's an air freshener because it can smell in those places. And there's like, there's one, this supermarket one where you do groceries and stuff. But that's like a real big fad on Steam right now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And so there's kind of a relaxation too, which is ironic and weird. Regular work. Yeah. You know, like work people have to do out in the world. And there is also, without too much of a tangent, there is a real satisfaction to do manual labor. You know, and now it's not for everybody, and some of it really sucks. I'm not saying all of it's awesome, but I've done a ton of it. Maybe like, I don't know, 8 years or 9 years of my life was physical labor stuff and stores and stocking things. And even though it sucks, there is a satisfaction to it.
Yeah.
Again, in the real world, not a video game.
Right.
So like I would finish my stocking in like the grocery store, and I remember I had to rework. I don't know if I told this on the story on the podcast before, but I had to rework the freezer. So basically, in the freezer when I went in there, it was just madness, like boxes everywhere, craziness.
Yeah.
And it's also really fucking cold in a freezer.
Sure.
In a grocery store
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the back room. So I had to be in there and just stay in there, and then I had to take breaks, like come out sometimes,
Warm up.
But I had to reorganize the entire thing.
Yeah.
And that sucked, right? My fingers were frostbitten or whatever. I went home. The meal was real fucking good. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
meal
yeah.
that I got with the paycheck from that and the work that I did. And then when I went to the job the next day, that place looked awesome.
Right.
You know?
Right. You can take
And
pride
it
in
was
that. Yeah.
And it was totally organized. And then my manager was like, this place, holy crap, you know? And I always remember that. So, like, I think there's something to that in the human condition.
I fully agree, dude. I fully agree. I used to work in a grocery store, and I did also work in a comic shop selling cards.
Oh, nice.
To where we did need to have air fresheners. So I've done all that too. So I've definitely done my share of it as well.
Yeah.
And there is, yeah. I mean, I think intrinsically people want to work. I know that like the myth from Republicans and from the right is that they think that people are like inherently lazy and we all want to sponge off the system. And I call like hardcore bullshit on that. Anybody who takes, I don't know anybody who like just wants to sit around and do anything unless they're like on drugs or something. But like if they're not smoking weed every single day, like people want to do things. They want to go and build something. They want to be involved in something. They want to like create something. That's just how humans are. And I definitely think there is a pride in putting out hard work, whether it's physical labor or maybe it's something that's in your brain or you're creating a piece of art or whatever, music, anything. Yeah. And when you get to the other end of it, you're like, damn, I made this thing and that feels really good. And especially if other people can appreciate it, right? People come into your store and be like, oh, there's that frozen mushroom pizza I was looking for. Thank you, Carlos. You know, that kind of a thing. I mean, that feels good, man. It feels real good.
Although that was the back room I was working on.
Oh,
They
whatever.
didn't. I wasn't. Oh, in the front room, I was the dairy manager at some point, and this is way off topic now, but not really. And I had a face. You know, it's called facing.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
all the products,
all the
right?
shelves. Yeah.
Yeah, and so when I would face the dairy area, I would also have to throw stuff out because it was like that stuff goes bad quick.
Sure.
So, anyways, tangent aside, it also sounds like Moonlighter, which I really enjoyed.
Similar, very similar.
Where you do the store and then you do monster fighting. That's different.
Yeah.
But I'm going to check it out. Long story short, I'm going to check it out. You kind of sold me on that relaxation of it.
Yeah.
And I've seen the graphics. I like them. So I'm going to check it out.
It's really good, dude. It's really good. I'm not far enough to give it a review score yet because I really do want to roll credits on this one. It's the kind of game like when you're not playing it, you're thinking about it, and that's like the best quality for me. So I think it's good. And to kind of compare with Moonlighter, I'm glad you brought that up because I really like the store aspect of Moonlighter, but I didn't like the combat aspect. I felt like it was too hard and too repetitive, and it just didn't work for me. But the store part really worked, and I feel like this kind of takes that good stuff and takes it a step further. I really like everything about it, and I would be very surprised if this game somehow stumbles before the end. I think it's all hitting on all cylinders. So far, definitely a big thumbs up. Definitely recommend it. Liking it a lot, and I'll circle back when I have finished and expanded my grocery empire and rolled credits. I'm sure this is going to be one of my favorites of the year so far. I'm guessing.
I'm gonna check it out, and then I'll come back on the show to talk about it with you.
Excellent. All right, one more game to talk about, Carlos. This one is you, Path of Exile 2. You've mentioned this before. I knew you were kind of getting back on the train here, but what is the update you're bringing us today, sir?
Well, I have a love-hate relationship with it. I could do a whole podcast just on this game. I'll make it short. I like Diablo 4. I like Path of Exile. I really like Path of Exile 2, but then I kind of hate it at times because it goes down that road of I don't want to say Souls-like because you don't like lose a bunch of stuff, but it's like you can get one-shotted more. And for anybody who doesn't know, living under a rock, these are action RPGs. People call them ARPGs now, but I don't know. You and I, old schoolers, an action RPG could be like Zelda.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I don't know, but people now call ARPGs, the Diablos, what you call it?
I mean, I think like more like dungeon crawlers or like Diablo likes. I don't really think of them as ARPGs, really.
Diablo likes. That's interesting. Yeah, because Diablo kind of started a lot of it.
Yeah, I did.
But anyways, that kind of game, I love them. I've played all of them. And Diablo 4 I played a ton of. Finally went over to Path of Exile 2. I was there at the very beginning when they're still in, beta, I believe, is what they call it. And but there's like 3 chapters, and then you kind of replay those 3 chapters, and then as of I think 2 weeks from now, they're going to release a new chapter, I've heard. So I went back in mainly because I found out my cousins were playing it. And my cousins are on the East Coast, and we don't see each other. So they were like all in, and I don't play multiplayer, you know that.
That is correct. That is confirmed.
So because I got to play with, talk to them and kind of catch up, I was back in and playing some. And that kind of got me into it because they obviously, maybe not obviously, but they were playing tons of it. So they had all this lore. They had this, just kind of love for the game. And while I still don't like lots of parts of it, where I think it can be too hard and you can get one-shotted by, a regular enemy, and I'm like, come on, dude, I got enough defense. There's enough parts that are really fucking good. And it is super, super addictive. If anybody liked Diablo 3 and 4, you would love this, right? It's this kind of just total, like you want to make a new character, you want to go through the campaign, you want to find loot, level up. I can't say it. I can't do it all in like 5 minutes, but I just want to bring it up because 2 things. One, there's an expansion right now, Dawn of the Hunt, and the new character class is a huntress. And I generally never play like range people, but she's got this great spear, and I like just had so much fun playing as a huntress. And then I'm playing a warrior as well, and I think that's all I have. It's just fucking great. Like I'm way back in. I'm way back in.
Let me ask you, man, as far as the multiplayer goes, what is that experience like? I mean, I don't know if you were further ahead or your cousins were further ahead or what, but like when you guys get together, I suppose it probably like splits the difference, like auto balances you guys. How does it work with like loot and stuff? Like, are you finding stuff that's appropriate for your level, or like how does that all break down?
That's a great question because I just looked it up. I've been using a lot of like Google and ChatGPT and being like, hey, what happens? Because like the game doesn't tell you a lot. Like a lot of times these games won't like tell you all the details, which is weird, by the way. So I had to look it up, and leveling wise, they could be like level 40 and I could be level 5, and it just makes it kind of the same. Basically, it gives the monsters more hit points, but it doesn't make them stronger. So basically, it has more for us to do because they're hitting harder, but there's just more hit points on the enemies now, if that makes sense. And anyways, also in the loot, it drops, you can just sort it. So basically, all the loot that I can see is what I can pick up, and the loot they can see is what they can pick up.
So you guys are not competing for the same loot then?
No. You could turn that on, actually. There's actually an option.
I don't know why you'd want to. That's
I don't know why you want to, yeah. So we turned it like to the level, specific. So like, yeah, you just kind of pick up what's yours. And it's great because like what we just did this morning is I needed like, it was like 8 in the morning because they were like, like East Coast
time, yeah.
Yeah. So I had to like get up early. But they can help me as a low-level character like beat a boss that I couldn't maybe beat by myself.
Gotcha.
So that's a good thing because a lot of bosses block story content, right? And so if you can beat a boss together, it's not like just playing the regular game. It's more like these bigger moments. So we've already done that together, and then I would go help them, on a different occasion. So
right. Well, it sounds fun.
It is really fun, dude.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I like a good like dungeon crawler, like Diablo, like that. I mean, I don't play all of them, but every once in a while I get the itch. And those can be pretty satisfying when you get like the good cycle of like, bigger swords and the numbers go up and you're feeling like you're powerful and stuff like that. It's pretty good. And it's always better with a friend. I mean, obviously, like, friends just like kind of make any game better just as a general rule. So playing with somebody is good times for sure. I don't know that I'm going to jump into this one because I think I played some of the first one. I thought it was all right, but I can appreciate what you're saying. And I'm glad that you and your cousins had a chance to kind of reconnect this way. Are you guys like chatting the whole time?
Yeah, it's great. Like now we're just chatting more in general too. So I like any game that can help do that.
That's awesome. Yeah, connections through video games. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, folks, that is the last game we're going to discuss. The game portion of today's show is officially done. But like many humans, Carlos and I do spend a few minutes a week in front of screens that don't have menus or life bars. It is now time for the TV and movie roundup. Carlos, since you just talked about PoE, let me go first here and talk about a game that a show that I know you're interested in. Resident Alien. Yes.
Yeah.
We just finished Season 4. Now, I know you've seen some of this. I know I recommended it to you. You didn't care for it at first. You kind of fell off, but you came back and you got into it. How far in the show are you right now?
I just starting season 3 probably tonight because I just wrapped season 2.
Okay.
I'm a little late to the game, but I finally went back to it.
No worries. No worries. So for people that don't know, Resident Alien is about, what is the actor's name? The main guy is,
I would not know.
oh gosh, he's real famous. He does a
I can
million.
look him up.
Look him up. He was on Firefly. He's been voices for everybody. He's mostly a voice actor these days, but he's also the star and producer of this show.
Alan Tudyk.
Oh, Alan Tudyk. That's right. Yeah, he's great. He's wonderful. He plays an alien from another planet who comes to Earth. He can transform into a human form, and he becomes the town doctor of a small town in, what is it, Colorado? Must be Colorado, right?
It's not Colorado.
No?
Is it?
Is it Montana? Doesn't matter.
I'll look
One of
up.
those. It's one of those states. I thought it was Colorado. Doesn't matter. Anyway, and so it's a small town, and he just has these hijinks. And at first, he's like kind of anti-human, but as the series goes on, he learns about love and friendship and that kind of stuff. It's really funny because his alien takes on things are so jarring sometimes that it's just like ripe for comedy. Alan Tudyk does a great job with his voice and his portrayal of the alien. It does feel very alien at times. Really just like janky and weird and wonky and fun. I think it's just a lot of fun. They got a really strong cast. The cast has really grown on me over time, and I think it's just a really fun show to watch. Great for families, if you don't mind a few swear words here and there. And I think that's good. I also really like this show a lot because, number one, they show people who are of different like body types. The main lead female, her name is Asta on the show. I don't know what her name is, but she is definitely like a curvier woman than we normally get on TV, and it's kind of notable. The deputy,
and native support.
Yeah, she's
native representation.
I was actually just going to say that next. So in addition to having alternative body types, they have a really strong element of native representation, indigenous representation, and I believe it's the Ute tribe is I'm pretty sure that's when they talk about. And in season 4 they really like lean hard into it. They go to powwow and they talk about some of the beliefs, and a lot of the people on the show are indigenous people because they just live there, and it's not like a special thing. It's just like it's a reflection of the reality of where they are. And I think it's like so awesome to get that representation. It's really well done. I think it's really so good. And season 4, I don't know if you know this or not, that is the final season. It ends at season 4. So series finale, and I'm so glad they got the chance to wrap it up. They did a great closing. I thought it was really well done. We got the typical RPG closing where they go back to every character and talk about what they are doing and what happened to them, which I love. That's my favorite kind of ending when it comes to a TV show. Everything felt satisfactory and well done, and just like really, I don't know, like sad that the show's ending, but I'm glad they got to go out on a high note, and I'm glad they had the time to do it properly. So I thought Resident Alien was great. My whole family loved it from start to finish. I will miss it for sure, but I am so glad it got to end the way it wanted to end, and we got all the good times with all these folks. Yeah, it's good stuff.
And also, being native, it's like awesome to see any sort of person who like maybe grew up like some parts like I did, and also like looks different, looks like me, and and then also what was it called? The only thing I had a problem with it in the beginning was the believability of people thinking he's human when he's obviously acting super weird.
Yeah, he's like so whack. I know.
Yeah, but I gave into that because that's why I stopped it originally. I was like, I don't know if I can believe this enough, because everything else around it is so believable and so passionate and emotional.
Well,
right?
I tell you what, dude. I tell you what.
So,
if there's anybody in the world who can look at Donald fucking Trump and treat him like a normal human being, we can certainly treat Harry like a normal human being too.
Yeah, I know. I get it. Believe me, I'm back in.
Yeah.
And I've had like heartfelt moments and tears down my eyes. Like, it's fucking great.
There are some great moments for sure. Yeah.
So I'm going to start season 3 probably tonight now that we're talking about it. So go check it out.
Yeah, I love that show. Over to you, Carlos, for Superman.
Superman, and then I have one more I just remembered.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
okay,
Superman,
good. Yeah, bring it.
Superman just got dropped to Amazon streaming. Lots of times I don't see movies in theaters, so I am excited when they go to Amazon. Other people get mad, I don't know, for some reason. But $20 at home, it's fine by me.
Oh, same, dude. I mean, like, I talk about that all the time. We don't really go to theaters anymore, so paying $20-$30 is fine, because we would pay 150 fucking bucks if I went to the fucking theater, dude. Like, it's a total savings, man. Yeah.
So I watched it on my big TV last night, and I just really liked it. Like, I don't know, there'll probably be nitpicks. I'm not going to watch any reviews. I'm sure people have like issues because it's, James Gunn. He makes it kind of weird, and Guardians of the Galaxy, which it has a vibe of at times. But I just went in again. We always talk about this expectations, almost zero expectations. I was like, I just want to have fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had fun. And there was even one heartfelt moment. And I was like, whoa, there's some feels I didn't expect. And they're all the great actors. And it's funny and weird. And there's a weird Green Lantern that doesn't make any sense. And I just enjoyed the shit out of it. I was like, I'm just here for this.
All right.
And there was a really good heartfelt moment about what it means to be human at the end and in family. And it was like, whoa, that is really good for James Gunn. Because I feel like I don't always get that with him.
Okay.
It's fucking really good.
All
That's
right, good.
I'll say it's really good.
Well, I'm in your same camp of zero expectations, and we're not like completely burned out on superhero movies. So I think we would probably entertain the notion of watching this one, even though we're not like the biggest DC fans. But
it's not even a superhero movie. Just so you know, it's not even a superhero movie.
But Superman's a superhero.
Yeah, he is. But my point is, it's a James Gunn movie. So if you liked Guardians, did you like Guardians?
Sure. Yeah, we did.
Okay. So you'll just like it.
Okay.
It's a him movie.
Okay, that makes sense.
If that makes sense.
Sure.
It's really like it has the story beats, but it's not telling you anything. It's like you already know Superman.
I mean, yeah, dude.
Here's a new story. And so
Okay.
it's like, here's a James Gunn story. That's it. That's what the whole show is. What the movie is.
Well, fair enough. It sounds positive, so it's on our radar for sure.
And then lastly, I was just going to mention Alien Earth.
That's so funny you mentioned that, dude, because in the Discord, someone was like, "Oh, I just watched the new Alien." I'm like, "There's a new Alien?" Like, I totally, for whatever reason, it like did not hit my radar like at all. And I am the guy who they should be pitching it to, and I like had literally no idea it was even coming. So I don't know shit about it, dude. Like fill me in.
I don't want to tell you anything. Can you just watch it?
I mean, I can, but there's got to be a gist. I mean, give me like the nutshell.
The gist is that I just don't want to tell you anything.
Boy, really nothing. Huh? Okay.
Okay, it's how the alien technology is used with humans.
Okay.
That's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's like meta-human type people,
okay,
which has also been Superman, and it's basically like two stories. It's like the scary alien, and there's horror moments and like oh no, someone just ate someone's head. Then there's also just really cool dystopia sci-fi show. And it's like, because Noah, what's his name, did it, who did Fargo, the TV show Fargo.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So it's really like blurring the line between like a really cool, some heartfelt moments and weird story beats, and it's sci-fi. It's just like a sci-fi show.
Interesting.
And then it goes and is like, whoa, wait, it's Alien. That's fucking intense. So it's great.
Okay, two questions.
Yeah.
Two questions. Number one, is this like that bullshit week to week, or is the whole thing available to stream right now?
Two episodes right away, and it's not bullshit.
It's bullshit.
It's just different.
It is bullshit.
It's just different.
Okay,
It's two shows are over.
I will wait till the whole thing's out before I watch, because I fucking can't stand. I can't stand the week to week shit.
You can't stand it, but other people can, and other people like it.
The other question is, where the hell are you watching this? Because I have literally not even seen a single advertisement or anything for this. Like, what channel is it on?
Well, I probably saw the trailer on YouTube because I live on YouTube.
You do?
It's on Hulu.
Hulu. I fucking have Hulu. How have I not seen it? What is going on?
I don't know.
What is my life these days? I don't even know. Okay, anyway.
But what a treat for you, though. I'm telling you, when you do finally ever start it, it's really good.
And what's it called? Alien Earth is what you said?
Alien Earth.
Alien
yeah.
Earth, okay.
And the idea is that obviously it's in the name, like, aliens coming to Earth, right? Like that's a story that's never really been told. And the story of like using that technology with humans, I don't think has been told. So
okay, all right,
it's very fucking good, man. I'm really excited.
Quick tangent, but not really tangent. It's funny because I feel like I've been so disconnected lately. I didn't know this even existed, but there was also, I want to say, 2 separate Predator things that have come. Like there's a Predator anthology that was like animated that just dropped, and someone's like, have you seen that? And I'm like, I didn't even know that even existed, dude. Like, and I'm like Predator fan from way back in the day, and there's a new movie coming up too, which I didn't even really find out about until like last week or something. So I don't know what's going on, dude. I'm like, I'm disconnected from the pop culture sphere, I guess.
Well, there you go. You're reconnected.
There Sorry, I left you nowhere to go with that. So I appreciate
I
you picking it up.
reconnected it. I reconnected it. And that's a show.
That's a show. Show, that's a folks. Folks, that's a show. Before the closing music, we'd love for y'all to leave reviews, share the show on social media. Most important of all, please recommend the show to your friends because nothing beats good old word of mouth. And as always, send us your questions and comments. You can hit us up directly, SoVideoGamesPodcast@gmail.com. Also on social media, you can find me on Instagram and Blue Sky. It's my name, BradGallaway, all A's, no O's. Carlos, where can people find you?
I don't know now. You know me. I'm always doing stuff.
Should people just manifest to the universe and hopefully you appear?
Yeah, or you just, there's a Google, or it could be AI.
Oh,
Who knows what you get
Jesus.
nowadays?
Jesus
I'm just joining the discourse because I actually don't care. But nowadays it's all those AI robots. Just
goodness.
ask an AI robot. Anyways,
my goodness.
Carlos Rodella is my name. Rodela. Just look for me somewhere.
Just do a general search. Hire private detectives. Look out your window.
No, you don't do that. Just on the internet.
On the internet. All right. Well,
You'll find me.
One place you can find Carlos occasionally is in the So Many Games Discord, which is totally free of charge. You're there sometimes.
Yeah.
Just drop a line through any of the channels we just mentioned, and I'll get you on board in the Discord to continue the conversation. And finally, if you'd like to support the show and help with the cost of running the podcast and GameCritics.com, you can do that over at patreon.com/the So Many Games Podcast. Every single dollar helps, and €1 helps that much more. Folks, that's going to do it for episode 450. It is 450, is it? It is. Thank you very much for listening to episode 450. This has been it. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining Carlos. Carlos, thank you for making it. And I guess we will see you next week.
I'll see you later when I don't get stuck in traffic and fall off a cliff and get rescued by an angel. Bye.